Hello. Have you ever been so down as a Christian that you ask yourself, is this Christian stuff really real? I mean, have you ever asked yourself if the world is right and it's just all a way to control people? Well, I certainly did. Um, if you've been following my life story, you know that I went through some really tough times, came to a point where I really had to rebuild myself. I had to rebuild my mind, my mindset, everything. So the surrender that led to the discovery through discipleship, faith. Let's talk about it. We've talked about my surrender before, and the reason I'm bringing this up now is in the last life story, life purpose. We talked about looking at that list of why you can't accomplish that seed that God planted in you, and what were the reasons on that list that you could not succeed. So we've kind of been going through those, and we've been saying which ones can I do in my own power, and which ones are flat out miracles. I've got to have a miracle. So we talked about that. Um, but I couldn't even get to that point until I surrendered, and that was probably 9 months to a year before I really truly sat down and said, I want to do this thing that God planted in me. And it took a lot of pain and suffering that we've talked about in the other videos. So I had no idea, honestly, how I ended up where I was. How can someone that's gone to church my whole life end up really, truly sitting there going, is this stuff really for real? I mean, I loved Jesus, but was I reading more into it? Was I felt like I was trying to be a good Christian, but how did I end up so broken spiritually and emotionally? And that's when I read the book Finding God in the Ruins. I've talked about that several times. Great read. I highly suggest it. In the ruins, I realized where I was spiritually and mentally. And I also realized that God could use that. Now, I'd heard stories my whole life, reading stories in the Bible. God uses the broken, the criminals, He uses those people. But I didn't know that I was going to be such a